He didn't paint a family, he painted a collapse. Look at this canvas. It's massive, imposing, and strangely silent. 4 people share the same room, yet they are separated by oceans of resentment. In the center, a young girl with one leg tucked under her dress stares into space. Her mother stands like a black monument to grief. Her father is a shadow, pushed to the very edge of his own life. This is the story of the Bellelli family, the most honest portrait of a failing marriage ever recorded. Let's start with the visual evidence. Degas wasn't just a painter, he was a master of psychological geometry. He ingeniously divided the picture into 2 halves by using the mirror closet and the table legs. This line is the most important character in the painting. It's not just a piece of architecture, it's a surgical cut. To the left, Degas creates a fortress of women. Aunt Laura and her 2 daughters form a solid pyramidal structure. They are anchored, heavy, and unified by their black mourning clothes. But follow that black line to the right. On the other side of that hard, dark edge sits Gennaro Bellelli. He is trapped in a narrow sliver of space, his back turned to the world, his profile half lost in shadow. Degas deliberately placed the edge of the mirror and the doorframe to cage him. In traditional 19th century art, the father is the center of the household. Here, he is an intruder. He sits lower than his wife. He is literally and metaphorically outside the family circle. The composition tells us that in this house, the air doesn't flow between the husband and wife. It stops at that black line. It's a visual representation of a Cold War, a marriage where the fighting has stopped only because the silence has become absolute.
Who were these people? Laura Bellelli was Degas's aunt, the sister of his father. She was a woman of high intellect and even higher expectations. Her husband, Gennaro, was a political exile from Naples, a man who lived in a constant state of frustration and bitterness. Degas stayed with them for months, and what he saw horrified him. In private letters Laura wrote to Degas's father, she described her husband as disagreeable, unstable, and frightening. She wrote, and I quote, "Living with Gennaro, whose character is so difficult, is a burden that will lead me to the grave." He was a fly on the wall. He watched as Laura grieved for her own father, the man in the red sketch on the wall behind her. He watched as Gennaro retreated into his study, obsessed with his papers and his failures. Degas was obsessed with getting the weight of the silence right. He made dozens of sketches, agonizing over the distance between the chairs, the tilt of a head, the coldness of a gaze. He wasn't just painting his relatives, he was documenting his own awakening to the cruelty of domestic life. At the time he began this, Edgar Degas was only 24 years old. He was a young man of immense privilege but deep cynicism. Degas was famously a bachelor his entire life, once saying, "I would be too afraid that my wife would say, 'That's a pretty painting you've done,' after I'd finished a day's work." In the Bellelli family, we see the seeds of Degas' lifelong obsession with voyeurism. He loved to watch people when they thought they were alone. Ballerinas stretching, women bathing, families falling apart. His psychology is all over this canvas. He identifies with the daughters, especially Julia in the center. Like her, Degas was a witness to the adult world's hypocrisy. By painting his aunt in such a monumental, almost terrifying way, he shows his respect for her suffering, but also his fear of her power. He paints Gennaro not with hatred, but with a chilling indifference. To Degas, the father is already a ghost. This painting was Degas' way of processing his fear of intimacy. He looked at the Bellelli marriage and saw a prison. He decided then and there that he would rather be the man holding the brush than the man sitting in the chair with his back to the mirror.
We must ask, why didn't Laura just leave? To understand the tragedy, we have to understand the social cage of 1858. This was a time when Italy was in the midst of the Risorgimento, a violent struggle for national unity. But inside the Bellelli apartment, there was a different struggle. Under the laws of the time, a woman's identity was legally erased by her husband's. Laura had no right to her own property, no right to her children if she left, and no legal path to divorce. The mourning clothes she wears are significant. She is mourning her father, Hilaire, who was the patriarch of the Degas banking fortune. With her father dead, Laura lost her protector. She was now entirely at the mercy of Gennaro. Degas captures the modern condition here. This is the dawn of the bourgeois era, where the home was supposed to be a haven in a heartless world. But Degas shows us that the home could also be a pressure cooker. The cold blue wallpaper and the expensive furniture aren't signs of wealth. They are the bars of a cell. This painting is a proto-feminist statement without saying a word. It shows the internal exile of a woman trapped in a life she never asked for. Let's look at the clues Degas left for us, the things the Bellellis didn't want the world to see. First, the girl in the middle, Julia. Look at her posture. She sits on one leg, her other foot tucked under her. This was a radical choice by Degas. It's an unposed moment. It shows her restlessness, her desire to jump up and run away from the suffocating silence of her parents. She is the only point of energy in the room, yet her face is empty. She is vibrating with the tension of the household. Second, the portrait on the wall. The man in the red sketch is the grandfather. Notice how Laura's hand is placed on the table, almost touching the frame of her father's image. Third, the dog. Look at the bottom right corner. Only the back half of the dog is visible. It's walking out of the frame. In art history, dogs represent fidelity. Here, fidelity is literally leaving the room. The dog knows what we know. There is nothing left to guard here. And finally, the mirror. Mirrors in art usually symbolize truth or vanity, but here the mirror reflects nothing but a ghostly, pale wall and a hint of a window. It offers no reflection of the family as a unit. It shows that even the light in this room is fragmented. Edgar Degas would go on to become a titan of Impressionism, famous for the beauty of his dancers, but he never again painted anything as emotionally raw as the Bellelli family. It took him years to show this painting to the public. Perhaps it was too personal. Perhaps it was too honest. Today, it hangs in the Musée d'Orsay in Paris. Thousands of people walk past it every day. They see a family in a room. But now you see the truth. You see the black line that slices a heart in two. You see the girl who wants to run. You see the father who has already disappeared. This painting is a reminder that the spaces between us are often more important than the people themselves. It asks us a haunting question. In our own family photos, what are we hiding behind the smiles? Thank you for joining me in this autopsy of a masterpiece. If you found beauty in this cold truth, subscribe for more deep dives into the shadows of art history. Until next time, keep looking past the surface.